broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 85 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys? How was your 4th of July / Canada Day?
It was full of fireworks, which was surprising because I didn't think anyone was going to do fireworks.
I meant to wish you I don't know. Do you wish a happy Canada Day? Is that okay?
Yeah, we say Happy Canada Day.
Okay, cool. And that's what, July 1st, right? You guys are July 1st. Okay.
Yeah, we like doing...
What is Canada Day for us uninformed?
It was the day Canada was formed as a country, breaking apart from...
Everyone can learn something.
It's similar to Independence Day, but I guess it was the day we stopped being a colony of Britain.
Same for us. Samesies.
Little different.
Slightly different, yeah.
way we went about it, I guess, is the only thing.
Well, because you guys still have like, isn't the Queen still involved in some of your stuff over there?
No, not in any. We don't have any direct ties to Britain from like a government standpoint. And I'm sure I'm probably misspeaking about some of this stuff, and someone's going to correct me on it. So I apologize if I did in proper Canadian fashion.
We do have Canadian listeners, so we might get some. We could always end up with somebody coming and correcting us. But look at that, though, a little history lesson today, right? So,
yeah.
Do you have a good 4th, Damon? Did you do anything?
I did nothing, but no, because I don't really necessarily like fireworks. We have a new development we have a new second half of our development, and I guess somebody from the area was lighting off fireworks at like 12:45. Like that's way past my bedtime. So I was a little annoyed by that. Like up to 11 o'clock, I feel is fine. But after that, it's like it goes a little much for me.
Yeah, that's fair. It's the same thing for us. We have places that do them at like 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, anytime anyone does it after 11, I mean, that warrants.
Yeah, 12:45 was a little tough, man.
Yeah,
little tough.
That's crazy. Because my daughter's 2 at this point, and so the fireworks last year they didn't bother her at all. She slept right through it. But we have people, they shoot fireworks off right over our house. I mean, we've got a whole fireworks show in our whole neighborhood. I mean, of just because we're right on the border of South Carolina, so you just drive over to South Carolina, you buy the good stuff. And, all the stuff that's illegal in North Carolina. And then there's a whole fireworks show in my neighborhood. And so that kept my daughter up all night until probably, I think, 11:30 is about when they stopped.
Okay. That's not the worst, but I can understand that. It's just tough. And then you got the dogs. You kind of have to be a little bit careful of the dogs. Like, you got to let them out and all that fun stuff. My dogs don't love fireworks.
Like it either.
So, yeah. But, I mean, it was fine. It happens once a year. It's okay. I know it's going to be that way.
Did you guys do a cookout or anything? Because we did.
I don't know. Again, I don't know how everyone's getting all this awesome food. But again, I think a lot of it is, again, as we were talking before the show, I don't necessarily go to the food store. I just have everything kind of delivered. So we don't get as large of a selection of food. So now it was just a normal day yesterday. I mean, we go mountain biking pretty much every day now. So, I mean, we went mountain biking, but outside of that, not too much.
Dude, I always have a stash of steaks in my freezer, so.
I don't do beef, number one.
Oh, okay, fair.
You have do some hot dogs, man? Come on, some hot dogs, some hamburgers.
No, I don't do any of that sort of stuff, so.
We did. We had a nice little barbecue over here.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway. Well, I'm glad you guys had an enjoyable. I mean, David, it sounds like you didn't do anything, but that's okay.
I watch some TV. I watch Netflix. That's all I do now is watch Netflix and look at Disney stuff. That's pretty much my life these days.
Because you got to prepare for the other podcast, though.
Oh, yeah, and it's so much harder than this one. I got to watch. So we watch. We did have Katie on, by the way, though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So Katie came on. She was a trooper. We did Warrior Nuns, which came out on Thursday at 3 a.m. And we did our show at 7 p.m. on Thursday, 10 episodes, 45 minutes each, bullied through them all of us. So that was interesting. Yeah. So Katie came on to talk about Eurovision and Warrior Nuns. And I think she might have watched them both in the same day, which is even crazier. Like I was done at like 3:00. I started at 6 a.m. and was done by like 3 p.m. But yeah, it was fun though. It's nice to have that crossover of some of the people that, you know, I've met through Welcome Home kind of coming over and talking Netflix, which was very interesting. And she also told us that she's going to be doing a Disney Plus podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
She's starting her own?
Yeah, she's starting her own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's good for Katie.
Yeah. So that
what is she calling it? Did she say it?
Yeah, but you know what? Not my place to say. Like, I don't know.
She doesn't want to reveal it yet.
Well, it's an interesting concept. It's not just a straight thing. So again, I don't necessarily want to ruin her surprise of, and again, hopefully I didn't ruin her surprise of doing a podcast, but I'm just trying to get you listeners, Katie. But she has a little bit of a wrinkle to it as well. And I enjoy speaking with her, so it was fun. But it's interesting, you know, I think everyone kind of that's listened to the other podcast would say that it's a little bit different Damon in that podcast, because now I have like my friends that are a little bit more, me-ish than you guys. So it becomes very interesting.
I don't know what that means. I'm not sure if I should be offended or complimented. I'm
I think that the people that I do the other podcast with are a lot more opinionated, like myself.
Okay.
Yeah, your friends are generally on the same wavelength as you, which does.
Yeah, so they tease me and make fun of me, and you know, it's like that sort of thing. And I was like, man, okay. It's like a bunch of us here. So,
yeah, but I'm pretty opinionated. I just keep it to myself, Damon. That's all.
Well, see, they don't. There's the difference.
I keep it to the Facebook groups. That's
yeah, there you go.
I save all my opinions for arguing with people in Disney Facebook groups.
Okay, that's understandable.
Not anymore. I've been taking a social media siesta for a while here. So, but anyway. Well, yeah, no, so that's great. So listen, we're building up demand for Katie's podcast, right? We're teasing it.
Yes. And again, but I need more listeners over my Netflix podcast. I want some more feedback. That's the problem I'm having. I wish I had like more feedback. We've changed a little bit, but I think in this podcast, we get a lot of feedback, right? So it makes it a little bit easier to kind of streamline what we're doing. And I think, you know, everything here works so well. You know, like it's like the listener questions. We kind of brought them. They're not, you know, what are they? 20 episodes in, maybe if that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's nice. It's evolving. We're at that, you know, Pokemon evolution in this podcast. Getting started again, you know, is a lot tougher.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's hard to go back to Charmander when you've been using Charizard.
Exactly.
I don't know
I'm
what
not
that
Pokemon enough to know that, but that's exactly what I wanted to say.
And my inner video game nerd comes out.
I don't know what that means at all. I've never been into Pokemon, so I don't really know.
I'm honestly more of a Squirtle fan for anyone who knows what any of that means. So,
all right, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but oh man, that's funny. I actually, you know, you mentioned Netflix. I was watching on Disney Plus. I was watching some of the old, like, and why am I forgetting what they're called? But Disney put up a couple more of like the old Walt Disney, like Sunday night, like shows.
Okay. The Magical World of Disney.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. That was I don't know why I couldn't think of it right then, but they have one that was like, and this is from like 1955 about like going to the moon and going to Mars. They were super cool. They were really, really neat. I really enjoyed watching them. If you like that kind of old nostalgic stuff, it's really cool. And actually the Mars one, a lot of the clips from it are played in Sci-Fi Dine-In. So like some of the stuff that's played in Sci-Fi Dine-In is from that particular video, from that particular show. So it's pretty neat if you like that nostalgic stuff.
I just, as I look over the listener questions, I see that Tom left out the awesome one that I would have done.
Which
one thing Damon likes, one thing Damon doesn't. How dare you leave that out?
You could keep it in there. That's fine. That's fine. If you want to put that one in there, that's cool.
No, you know, the problem is that I actually have to think how to answer that, and that would be, I don't know, is it one thing I like in life, you know, at Disney? What I need some more clarification on that.
Well, the question was 5 things you don't like and then 10 things that you do, right? So
was it something like that? Yeah. I mean, I could do 1-on-1, but again, is it about Disney?
I think so.
Is it though?
I initially I read the question as one topic that you liked on the show today, and 5 topics you hated.
Oh, that would be so much easier to do. I could do that right now.
That's what I thought we were going to do here. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. I kind of dig that. But there's so many I don't like. I don't know.
See, that's the problem. That's why they, had so many. Didn't they have more in the dislike category than the like category?
Yeah. Like I love, the listener questions. Those are probably my favorite things these days are the listener questions.
The listener questions. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
you guys are keeping
I hate
going
the rest
with
of it.
not a whole lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, and I think I hate the rest of the stuff that you were going to talk about.
That's fair. I mean, that's,
Garden grill. No.
How dare you?
I put that right in there just for Trevor. That one's for Trevor. So anyway. All right. Well, do you want to cover that question now, Damon, or do you want to think about it and cover it at the end of these questions?
No, I want more clarification before I covered it all. Is it just Disney? Is it just the episode? Let me have some clarification. Then I'll be more than happy to answer. No. I don't want to say what I would prefer because I'd like to know where this question was going.
Yeah, this could result in some serious soul searching depending on how deep it was.
Exactly. I mean, you're asking me like which one of my kids I like the best. I mean, I think a little bit about that one. I mean, I don't know.
That's funny. Which one of your kids you like? Do you have an answer to that?
No.
Do they listen?
They don't
to
listen,
the show?
Damon. They don't listen. It's okay.
No. My one son does listen to it, and all his friends listen to it as well. Like his friends' parents. Yeah. It was funny because, these are just kind of these stories, how you kind of think about that. I was actually having a discussion with my oldest son's friends' parents, the ones that were buying Disney. They were buying some resale points. I think they bought 25 boardwalk points.
Oh, okay.
Again, I don't know how to. I don't know why you would buy 25 points. It's interesting, but I think what their thought process was that they want to buy it, feel out the process, right? And I'm that way too. I think sometimes, right? Feel out the process. Like, how hard is this? How easy is it? What does it mean to me? And then they'll purchase some more points after that. They just want to kind of get their feet wet. So they listen to the podcast, and then my middle son's friend from swimming. They're big Disney people as well. So one day my son was playing the podcast in the car to kind of mock me because like he thinks that's funny, right? I guess. And they're like, whoa, what's that? And then they just started listening. So
that's funny. See, he played it just specifically to mock you. They
do that. My boys are funny like that.
I think it's beautiful that it backfired on them, though.
Yeah, it works out well. So now, like, sometimes, like, they'll send, their friends will send my kids pictures of them being in the car with their parents, and, the Welcome Home podcast is playing on the radio, and they'll take a picture of it and send my kids, a snap or something like that. It's kind of funny.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that, that your kids and your one kid and his friends listen. That's cool. And your other, and I'm excited to hear the feedback from your friends about the process. Cause and Trevor can attest, this process is so easy.
Well, see, and the question is, what I said to them was after, Tom, what you went through, I said, well, if you're going to do it that way, don't you have to all buy the same use year? Like, if you're going to buy like a bunch of super small contracts, you have to have the same use year, right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably just for your sanity.
Right, because if you had like 5 25-point contracts, all different use years, that would suck, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, it would definitely. That would be a huge pain.
Okay. So that's what I did tell them. That's what I did tell them.
I think that would be a big pain. I mean, just having the one contract on a different use year is a big pain.
Yeah, I got my second contract with the same use year, and just watching you deal with your contract, Tom, like, gave me anxiety.
Yeah. It's a bad idea to get that. I mean, it works for some people, I'm sure. I'm sure there are people out there that have different use years and are just okay with managing them. I just am not okay with it anymore.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm who knows?
But are you really going to sell that contract? That's the real question.
I mean, I was just telling you guys before we started the show that I had to replace my whole AC system today, and my wife was like, "So we're going to sell that DVC contract now so we could pay for this?" And
yeah, that might make sense now, huh?
Like, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, but I'd be curious to how that process goes. I mean, do it for the betterment of the show.
To sell this,
yeah,
for the good of the show, sell my points.
I'd be curious about how that part of it goes, because I think sometimes that's not a lot of what we hear about. You know what I mean?
True.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm ready for this first listener question, though. I'm curious.
Okay. Let's get into it.
All right. So Katie asked, what kind of what kind of mask or face coverings are you using? Like, do you prefer the gator style with the puppy dog face or homemade one? Damon needs a Jeffrey face on the gator style mask. I actually did a lot of research on masks. I probably have 20 different brands of masks.
20?
And I have found that a company called Levelwear has been the absolute best face mask of all of them. And again, I have a fair amount of them. The way that they fit and the kind of I guess they're almost an athletic type sort of mask. Like, we went out hiking and I had a different mask with me and I was like, oh, this really is brutal. It was just a little too thick. Now the Levelwears are still I think we go with the Levelwear 3s, which are still the 3-layer mask, but they're so well done that I really like them. I guess the other mask that I would say came out number 2, but is definitely not as breathable as there's a company that sells vacuums, Stark Vacuums, and they make masks as well. And they're pretty good, but I would say Levelwear 3, I believe, is the exact name of the mask. That was my favorite.
You put way more thought into this than I ever did.
Me too.
Hey, I'm just trying to help people out.
No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm honestly, I found the first company I could on Amazon selling masks, and I just bought some cotton ones, and I haven't thought about if there was actually a better alternative out there.
You know, right. I don't want to say I did the same thing. My wife ordered them for me. I didn't even see them until they arrived. So my wife just bought some for us, and it's fine. I have some sort of cotton one again off of Amazon or maybe Etsy. I don't know. My wife would have bought it off Etsy. I don't know. But I actually bought the Disney ones that they're selling, and I got them, and they are super tiny. Like, they are, I don't even think my kid could wear them. They're so small. I don't know what happened. I think I ordered like medium, thinking like, I don't know, that or large.
A medium-sized head.
Yeah, I thought maybe that it would fit, but I mean, I swear it's so small. I don't know what that's about. And they don't accept returns on the masks, which I understand why they don't take returns. Mm-hmm. But it's not like we're using them. We tried it on once. It doesn't fit. That's it. So listen, if there's a listener out there that wants some Mickey and Minnie masks, just let me know. I'll send them to you for free. I can't do anything with them. They don't fit. And my kid's not going to wear it. She's 2. She's not going to wear it. So.
I mean, the reason it's a little bit of a bigger deal for us is, my son's going to swim practice. He has to have a mask every day. Our school's starting up in approximately a month, and the kids are going to have to wear them every day. And I have 3 kids. So, I mean, I need a stockpile, and I need masks that, they're not going to necessarily complain about as much. So again, I had to do a little bit of research. There was some other masks that I enjoyed and I thought were pretty good, but there's got to be some sort of price point when I'm buying so many of them. So these Levelwear Guard 3s are still on the little bit expensive side of $15 a mask, but it was still cheaper than some of these others. I mean, there were some masks out there that are $20, $30 and they're really good, but and I'm going to need at least 15 of them. That's a big purchase. That's a big purchase.
Well, that makes sense. You wanted to try them out ahead of time.
Yeah. So that's what we came up with. Like I said, they were,
you got me looking whether or not this company ships to Canada or not now, because you brought up a good point. I didn't even think about what's going to happen when fall hits and my son has to go back to school.
Well,
because we don't know any of that stuff yet.
So we kind of know a little bit more maybe than you do, but I would say that the reason that I thought these were so well done is they have the ear with the adjustable like bead on it, so you can kind of pull them in, you know what I mean, to bring them a little bit tighter, and the nose pleat. So what I found is that some of them have these nose situations, but you're always feel like you're constantly touching them to adjust them, and obviously that defeats the whole purpose. This, again, fit me well, fit my kids pretty well. And even my daughter, who's only 10, she could still wear this. And it was still, would, do its purpose. So the whole family could kind of wear one size, no problem. And what we did is all the masks that I didn't necessarily love. And again, they just maybe the one I really liked, but they were just too heavy. You know what I mean? Like we went for a hike and I was like, I'm going to wear this mask to see what it would feel like. And when I was done, I was like, nah. Like, it's just too heavy. We keep them in the car. So I feel like I didn't necessarily waste them because, sometimes you'll jump in the car and then not have them. We just leave the masks that I didn't love in the car, and that way they're there. So,
yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I feel like you could do a whole show now on your reviews of masks. That was
definitely
so thorough.
See, this was a great listener question. This is why I think Damon loves the listener questions. Is that
when I saw that, I was very excited for this question. I'll be honest with you, because I was like, I've been doing this for my friends. It was, a lot of my friends have said, "Oh, what's the mask situation?" I was like, "All right, let me tell you. I got like 20 different kinds. This is what you want to get." And they're all like, "Oh my goodness, that's great, right? They don't have to go through that whole process." So I felt like I was trying a little bit to, help everyone out, and that's what I came up with.
No, that's good to know. Now I feel like I need to buy a new one. I feel like I've been lazy and have done no research, and which is true. I've done none.
Again, neither have I, because my extent of going outside has been the like once every other week trip to the grocery store, which usually lasts about 30 minutes. And yeah, beyond that, I haven't really had much of a need to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Same here. Just when I go to the grocery store. So yeah, I mean, it's maybe 20 minutes at a time. So I'm not really wearing it all that much. So
well, and I think Under Armour has an athletic mask, but it was something I would have tried out, but I think they were $30-something, and they were on back order already. So I was like, that was the other thing. I had this company that made bras that was making masks, and I said to myself, if they're making high-end bras, they're probably doing a really good mask. That was my thought as a man. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here. But the problem is that I ordered them a month and a half ago, and I still don't have them. Levelwear also, I ordered 3, got them, loved them, ordered 3 more, got them in less than a week. Having the ability to get them in a timely manner is great, because these other bra masks, right, could be phenomenal. But I don't know, and I haven't gotten it. And then what am I going to do? Even if I love it, am I going to order another one and wait another month and a half? I'm not.
I get that.
Timing is also, a definite issue.
Yeah, and those Disney ones, I think I ordered in April, and they didn't even ship till June. So imagine my disappointment that I waited 2 months for them, and they were way too small to even wear.
Definitely. That was, I thought about that too, because I was looking at ordering the Disney ones as well, and then when I saw that they came in different sizes, and
that's always a problem.
Yeah, and you didn't really know what the sizes were. I was like, I don't, I was in the park of let's wait and see what other people do with them or how they come out, and then I can order them later, because I assume they'll still be around probably in a year.
Yeah, I assume that they're still going to be selling them. I actually seen a lot of people comment the same thing, that they came in way too small for them. So I guess I wasn't the only one not to order it to the right size. I was also disappointed too, because they had they're selling them in 4-packs, like themed 4-packs, and one of them was a Star Wars one, and they had a Baby Yoda one. I was like, I want the Baby Yoda mask, but it's like the second I saw that they were selling those, it was immediately sold out already. So I couldn't even get that one.
It's funny how like this is, masks are supposed to be a functional thing.
No, yeah.
But there is a certain degree of fashion around it as well. And
there 100% is, Trevor. I would agree with that fully. And I think that if there was like Louis Vuitton masks and people like were wearing them, like it could be a fashion statement. I think it would be a different take on masks in general.
But they would have to work though. Like people just making designs is one thing, but for somebody to actually get a proper mask.
Well, I'm not going to lie. The way that the Black and Pebble on the Levelwear masks look, it was definitely a factor as well, because they just look kind of sporty and cool, right? Like, as I say to my 2 boys, like, all right, well, you got to wear like a mask. They're like, oh, okay, well, these don't look so bad, right? Like, they're gray and black. They can kind of work in with anything, right? You're wearing jeans, they're good. You wear, like, if you're matching them up, they're okay. I actually wish they came in a few extra colors as well, but I guess gray black is probably the most neutral you could get.
True. And,
go ahead.
And I was going to say, it's like, when you say same thing, like I said to my kid before, you have to wear a mask, and he initially goes to, thinking of the disposable blue masks, right? Like that's what
surgeon masks.
Yeah, that's what people think of. And, Yeah, it's funny how there is actually a whole other level to this that's starting to evolve as we go.
Oh, there's been some masks that I've seen, and I'm like, yo, $70 is a little much, right? It's a little much. They're really cool looking. Again, even the Under Armour ones, they were really cool, but I'm like, man, that's a lot of loot. It's a lot of loot.
The best looking ones I've seen can be found at store.welcomehomepodcast.com with our logo on the front. Right? Do you see how good that was? Right? Ours, I think, are only like $15. So there you go. I don't think anybody's bought a mask yet, actually, with our logo on it. So
yeah,
where's the commitment from our fans? I don't know.
Well,
I mean, the fact that I
wouldn't buy one. I buy a Levelwear 3. Sorry.
I feel that when I next go down to Disney, I'll probably consider that. But wearing one outside of Disney World, I like.
I can agree with that.
I get it. What, you don't want to wear our gear in daily life? I mean, I wear our gear sometimes. I mean,
yeah,
I see it in the closet, and I usually just kind of pass it. I'm like, oh, I could wear that shirt today. But you know what my problem is that I go either A, I'm like, oh, dude, no, I can't wear that shirt, or B, I'm like, oh, what if I get stuff on this shirt? Like I need it for Disney.
You don't want to ruin it. You don't want to.
That's my problem, and that's why I don't wear any of my welcome home gear at home. Is that I'm going? I need to save this for my Disney trip.
I agree.
I don't want to get it dirty or wrecked or anything. I want it to be pristine.
Yeah, remember I spilled. What did I spill on mine? I thought I was gone. It was my mom, thank goodness, rescued it from laundry oblivion. But I thought I was done for.
Well, it was laundry day the other day for me, and I needed a shirt, so I went. No, it's true. I wear that shirt all the time. I like wearing it, so I'll just buy myself another one if we run out. I'll just get us a couple more.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
We got to move on here. We're destroying ourselves. We're on listener question A. Like that's not good.
Masks are an important subject, though. So that's
true. That's true. All right. Well, I'm gonna push us forward here. So Dan asked us, Riviera has a hefty discount promotion currently. I don't think it's all that hefty, but
no, there's a new one. You got to go further down. There's a new one they put out there.
I just looked. But what does that mean for current sales there and about DVC resales being hot right now? What does it mean for Reflections and Disneyland DVC future? I thought Reflections was done.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't really know that it's done.
Well, we can't. We don't know what it means for Reflections if we don't know what Reflections is going to be and when it's going to be done and all that. So yes, I see your Riviera thing down there, and I chuckle at heavy discounted. That is not a heavy discount.
I mean, it is if you buy 200 points.
If I buy 500 points, yeah, sure. I get $40 discount a point. That would be great.
I mean, 25 a point at 200 points. I mean, or 35 a point at 200 points is not bad.
That's a lot of points, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying that many, of course. But
again, I don't necessarily think it's a hefty discount. But what do I feel that it means? I don't know. Like, I feel
that it means that Disney wants to sell some contracts.
Yeah, I think that's it. But I also think that I'm not in love with Riviera, so it's a very difficult discussion anyway. I always say that I'm holding out for the Epcot one. You know what I mean? Like, I'm holding out for the Epcot stuff, so I'm not even really thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where my head is. Like, Riviera doesn't do it for me. Reflections doesn't do it for me. Throw a resort in the front of Epcot and we'll talk. Like, that's how I feel.
I thought you liked Riviera, though. I mean,
I like it, but again, I just think that it's going to be such a mishmash of like points and stuff for the next 2 years that I'm not all about needing anything right now. Again, they throw that Epcot stuff in there. Yeah, I'm all in. You can put a park right. You're going to put a resort right in the park or right outside the park. Yeah, I'm in. I'm saving my money for that because I'm going to tell you that's going to be crazy.
If they do that someday.
I already know what that feels like. Staying at the Grand Californian, you do want that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, being able to walk right into Epcot would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be Epcot. It could be anywhere. I just find, again, everyone always asks, Epcot is my favorite park. Again, it definitely took a hit with Ellen being gone, but, it still is my favorite park. So if I could walk in there, and again, while that's, still a rumor up for grabs, I personally feel that that's going to happen. So I'm kind of holding out for that.
I mean, you can kind of do that now at Boardwalk or Beach Club, though.
Nah.
I mean,
I still got to get on. I still got to get on something.
No, you can short walk over.
Trevor, school him on this, please.
It's a short walk. You could.
No. It's very like Tom. When you can pop back to your room, like when you're at the park and you go, oh, I want to go grab my jacket, and you literally walk like out of the gate up a flight of stairs, and you're at your room. That's very different from, I got to go down a path. I got to get on on the Skyliner, or I have to like take a boat or anything. It is a different feel.
You don't have to do that for Beach Club or Boardwalk, though. You just walk right out the International Gateway, and you're right there.
Right there.
It's not. No,
it's not right there.
It's pretty close.
I had a room right above the entrance to California Adventure. It is not the same.
I agree with you. It's not the same. I'm just saying it's not like you have to get on any transportation. It's a short little walk over there. Now, it is in the back of the park, so if you want the experience of walking right up and seeing Spaceship Earth and having that whole entrance experience, sure, I'm with you. I'm just saying it's possible.
It's still, 10, 15 minutes, though?
Yeah, it's a 15-minute walk. It's not like I said, it
not
feels
right there.
different. In terms of the bubble, like even disconnecting yourself and going back to the hotel, there's still that walk where you're kind of disconnected. When you're staying at a hotel that is like in or connected directly to the park, the way, again, I'm just basing this all off of staying at the Grand Californian.
I feel like I'm going to have to stay there or stay somewhere in there, right? That's cash too, right?
I don't think you'll...
It's going to be tough to get.
No, I don't care about DVCs. If it's cash, that's fine. I'm paying that trip cash anyway.
I would highly recommend it. It's an expensive hotel.
but I'm not going anywhere this year, so I'm going to make up for it. That's kind of my game plan.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going anywhere, so you can save this year for next year.
Mm-hmm. So back to Dan's question about, talking about all these, what does it mean for the Reflections in Disney DVC future? So hypothetically, talking about how the landscape's going to look in a couple of years is really what we're talking about for these resorts to show up. First of all, we need to get past the pandemic, and we need to see what Disney actually looks like when things are opened and operating on a semi-normal basis again. I think the hard part right now is obviously, Disney is selling DVC contracts because, like you said, Damon, they're just trying to sell at this point. They're not trying to get the most amount of money. They're just trying to keep these contracts moving. And on the flip side, obviously, resale is a little bit volatile, or I shouldn't say a little bit. It's volatile at the moment. I think I can't say whether or not this would have a great impact on Reflections or the new Disneyland DVC resort, because by the time they're coming out, we're going to be into the new normal. And I feel that, and I'm probably going to be wrong about this, but I feel that you'll see a little bit of a dip in direct DVC prices here for a bit. But once Disney World and Disneyland get back to a point of operating somewhat normally again, they're going to go right back to where they are right now. Because Disney is not going to, they're not just going to discount everything just because of a blip on the radar, so to speak. I know this is kind of a big blip, but
yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. I don't know if I see them. I mean, this is, for all intents and purposes, a reduction of the price per point, right? So, I mean, because they're doing it all the way on contracts down to, what was it, 100 points, I think? Yeah. So from 100, you even get a $5 discount. Usually you don't get it as far down there with those incentives. So I do think they're a little bit, I don't want to say desperate, but obviously sales have taken quite a hit, right? So, what do you do when sales take a hit? You offer a promotion. That's what I think it means. And I think our friends at DVC Resale Market, I believe the last 2 months were like the best 2 months they've ever had in their history. I think they posted that on our Facebook group, right? I'm trying to remember, but I don't want to misquote them. But they're doing very, very well. So resale is booming right now, right? And part of that is because direct really just isn't, right? I mean, direct is not booming at all right now. It's in fact it's not really doing anything. I mean, they're not selling any contracts. So I do think the thing about it, Disneyland's different, right? So Disneyland, there's a pent up demand for that resort. So I think that resort will definitely happen, right? Because I think they'll have no problem selling contracts at that resort.
Oh, not at all. My wife and I are already talking about it. Like,
you're like already saving up. You're just ready.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a huge pent up demand for that resort, right? So that I think will still happen. And I think they know that. But at the same time, when you have a whole, Disney doesn't like overlap, or I should say DVC doesn't really like overlap. They don't like actively selling, two resorts at the same time. They like to, get towards the end of selling a resort and then open a new resort. And that's kind of what they did with, Copper Creek, got towards the end and then they started selling Riviera. So at this point, I do kind of believe the rumors that Reflections is getting delayed, or, I don't think it's canceled altogether, because I still think there is an underlying demand for DVC, right? There's an underlying demand for DVC contracts and points. They've been selling them hand over fist. I do think it's interesting though. I mean, if they do really struggle hard, I can't imagine they're going to suspend, like, get rid of the resale restrictions. I can't see them doing that. I feel like once you go that direction, you can't come back, right?
But what does that do for them anyway, though?
It makes it more appealing. I mean,
they can make appealing.
It makes the contracts more appealing.
Well, but it makes resale more appealing. It doesn't make the directs more appealing.
Exactly.
Well, no, it makes the directs more appealing in that if you buy, a lot of people don't want to buy points there, because if they do need to resell it at some point, then whoever buys that resale contract is gonna. I mean, it's gonna be significantly
I don't think that
lower.
people think that way. Again, we had this discussion before.
There's some people that do.
I don't think most people think that way.
Most people probably don't.
So, I mean, I'm on the other side of that, and I can understand how you can look at it both ways. I don't disagree with that. I just think that the majority of people aren't looking ever to sell a contract that they buy, and, the majority of the people. So offering, benefits to resale because they know they're going to sell it in the future, I don't think that helps Disney at all. I don't think that helps Disney have people buy. I think that it would be the other aspect. Put some, more restrictions out there. Then all of a sudden you'll see people buying more direct points. If you made even more restrictions, all of a sudden split up the resale people that they can't, or not even leave them the way they are and say, direct people can get fast passes 10 days earlier. And you see what happens to direct point buying.
Well, I do agree with you, Damon, that, most people are in it for, not the intent of reselling. I think there is still an inherent, people ask the question of, am I buying into this? And if something happens, am I screwed in being able to resell it? And it's not that they have an intent of, dumping the contract in 5 years, but I do think there is some incentive there for seeing that resale is not super restrictive.
Sure.
So, I mean, I have a hard time with that because I just don't think that way. So, when I'm going to purchase something, I consider that money gone, right? So it almost is irrelevant to me what happens after the fact. So I can't necessarily wrap my head around that. That would be like 3 steps ahead of where I am. So I think that
there is a degree of gambling there for sure. And
I just think if you went the other route, what does that mean, right? So we can talk about that as, does it help some people? Okay. But again, what if they made even more restrictions again, or they gave even more benefits to, blue card direct people? What would that mean? Would that mean that, less people would just purchase overall? Because that's what would be interesting to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't know the answer to that. I'm sure they've looked into that, right? I'm sure they study that kind of stuff.
People would be mad.
Oh, yeah, people would be so mad. I mean, people were mad about the Riviera restrictions. And I think the thing is, you're saying, you don't care what it's like after it's gone, but you do care if it reduces the value where you can't sell it for as much, right? And that's what people are facing here.
I don't because I've already gotten my money out of it, right? So for me, it's just all gravy. So it doesn't really matter to me. And then previous to me getting my money out of it, I just wasn't at a point in my life that I cared enough about that. Like it's just not on my radar. Again, I don't know. I just can't think that way. So it's hard for me to kind of go down that path. That's just not the way I think. I bought it, that money was gone. It's like buying a car to me, in the same aspect of, is there resale? Okay, there's resale on cars, but, did I ever look to say, okay, well, does this car have better resale than that car? No, I just bought the car and that was it. And I get what I get when it's done. And, if it's worth nothing after, then it's worth nothing. I got my use out of that.
And I feel the same way you do, Damon, but I know people personally that they look at things based on potential. And that's where this discussion goes, is into, people talk about, well, I could have potentially made $200 instead of $150. And that's where it becomes maddening, because they get very hung up on perceived loss. Which,
but isn't that, I mean, is there a lot of people like that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's the overwhelming majority.
No, I think we've said this many times on the show, right? There's casual DVC owners and power owners, and there's
I'd
people
love to see that breakdown. That's the survey that we need to get in the parks and in the lounge, right? You shouldn't be able to get chips until you answer the survey. Like, what sort of DVC owner are you? Because I'm very casual. I'm a casual DVC.
How many people buy a contract without even looking into it? Like they just it's an impulse buy at the park, right? You don't even research it. So I mean, maybe you'd have no idea.
It all that much, maybe a little bit, but
see, I spent 2 months before I did anything.
Same, yeah. Same thing here. I did a lot of research, and I did a lot of research, by the way, and didn't even stumble on the fact that that resale was an option, right? So I didn't even know it was an option until we started doing the show, honestly. So, but I don't even know what I was just going to say. I completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that just blindly buy DVC and don't really look into these things. And I doubt that, I don't know if they legally have to offer this up, but I doubt the DVC advisors are, when they're selling Riviera to people are actively telling them, hey, if you want to resell this someday, you can't, that person can't use it anywhere else. I doubt they're saying that at all. I would assume that they're not.
I doubt it too. It's funny. We have this, not funny for the people that are in this neighborhood, but there's this neighborhood that, that I live in, and there's a house across the street, and they're putting a street in to connect to this new, other neighborhood, right? And I knew about it because I asked, and I was like, oh, okay, well, what's that? Like, it looks like there's going to be something there. And they're like, oh, well, it's going to be a future street. And again, it's a street within the neighborhood. It's not like a major highway or anything. It's, a little, can't fit 2 cars down a street. But the people across the street from us who bought previously and did not, I don't think, have a custom build, they bought a house that was already built. They did not know about it. Now, the realtor really should have said something. So now all of a sudden there's these trucks coming down the street, ripping out this forest to put a street in. And these people are losing their mind. It's the same thing. Don't ask and you're not going to know. Right. So I doubt that they're going out of their way to tell people.
Oh, they're definitely not. Right. I have a good friend that's a DVC advisor. I should just ask her and see if she's actively telling you. She might not want to tell me, but but all right. Do you guys want to move on here?
Yeah, let's we still got lots more good questions to get through here, so we should probably
I think the show is just going to be all questions.
Yeah,
right. Well, I think Chrissy's first question here, that this is a question that none of us can possibly answer, and I don't think anyone can answer, right? Is when do you see Disney doing large group events again, like Run Disney or Wine and Dine events or that type of thing? Yeah. Chrissy, I wish we had an answer to that. I don't think any of us can really say that with certainty.
I think it's got to be open for a little while first, and then we'll have a better understanding.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's just pie in the sky this, because I'm sure in a month this will change anyway. Is that so let's assume that Disney's been open for 2 months. We get past July, we get into August, September. Things have been open.
Starting to get into interesting part of the year, though.
Yeah, so it's been open for a couple of months, and we're into that season where you would normally have food and wine and not so scary Halloween party. The thing is that it really does.
Isn't that canceled already, though?
They are, and I'm sure Disney did that purely because it's easier to set the expectation of, say no up front. And if they feel they can adjust it later, they may do so. But I think that it'll probably go further, that they're just going to write off the rest of this year. And I would say the earliest you will see anything resembling a big group event probably won't be until Flower and Garden Festival next year. So like, I'm thinking March is when you might start to see them doing more of those large group events, but it really depends on how things go here over the next couple of months with it being open.
Sure, because I think that the large group events are more costly to them. They can make more money, but only at capacity or near capacity numbers, right? Do you really rake in that money? I think all the planning and the timing and the people that go into those sort of things are kind of what, you know, it makes it tough to have a limited audience for them and still profit.
Yeah, you can't put on, even like Not So Scary Halloween Party. They expect a certain amount of ticket sales, and the fact that people are canceling,
you mean like sold out every time.
Yeah, people are canceling tickets left, right, and center. You know, that there's no way they're going to put on a party and have, you know, 1/10 of the actual people show up that would normally go to those things.
So for all the people currently as we speak today, if you have reservations and don't have tickets, what does that mean right now?
May not be
to the
going.
park.
Yeah, they may have to cancel. Yeah, because I don't think you can still buy tickets yet. I did see that they started offering packages for 2021, but I still don't think the ticket buying is open.
Yeah, so for somebody like me, right, who doesn't have an annual pass, who in theory hasn't canceled their November trip, but I don't have tickets, why would I go now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you kind of can at this point. So,
What'd you say?
You kind of can't at this point. I mean, you can't buy your tickets, right? So,
I mean, I could go to the parks and just do. I could go to the resort and just do the resort, which is kind of my plan. Anyway, if that's what we were doing, but yeah, so that's just something I've had a lot of people kind of say stuff to me, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think you can get tickets. Like friends that we go with, I think they were talking about getting tickets like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I don't know if you can. Like, I guess you could still buy annual passes if you really wanted, right? Or no? Can't even do that.
I don't think they're even offering new annual passes right now. I thought they were only offering renewals. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could still renew. And actually, that's a dilemma that I actually have right now, because I don't know what I'm going to do about my annual passes, which have been extended. Initially, I was just going to take like the refund that they were doing for the months that they were closed. But I'm kind of, we would like to try to go summer next year, but I don't know if I want to renew my annual pass or not, because it would make sense to do. It would be cheaper than, our typical 8 days worth of tickets to renew. So I don't know. We're kind of I don't have to make a decision for a couple months here, but I'm just kind of at a loss of what to do here. So
again,
anyway,
we're what, 2 weeks from them opening things up?
Yeah.
So we got
to see how things play out.
Yeah, this is the hard part right now, is that we're all sitting in this holding pattern, and it's just purely speculation, and you really do have to see what the parks look like when they're open. And I know I've been kind of half paying attention to the stuff going on at Universal, and it definitely seems like they're doing okay, but that's also not factoring in people coming, or not large amounts of people coming from other places, right?
Yeah.
Like the real tell is going to be not just the opening, but when people actually start traveling there again, and whether or not it gets to a point that people are I really hope this isn't the case, is that, people are going home and then spreading the infection again. Like, yeah.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
We should probably do the ad right now. Do we want to
do that now? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're right there, and I think we're going to move on to the next topic, right? So, I hope that answers your question, Chrissy. Unfortunately, the answer is we don't know. But I think Trevor's got a good guess, though. I mean, I think we said this before on the show in previous episodes, and as we're going all through this all together, I think everybody's just kind of taking it day by day, right? We don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow, and we don't really know what's going to happen next week and next month and next year. So at this point, and it stinks because you got to plan these vacations so far ahead of time, but at the same time, it's like we just don't know. None of us really know.
Yeah.
So
at this point, I'm not planning a vacation actively, which is weird because it's been years since I've done that. But yeah, it's just I'm waiting to see what happens, and I'm waiting to see how things look over the next couple of months. I'm definitely not going in October now because there wouldn't be much of a point. So yeah.
See, I'm gonna book a trip for when I think I can go, just because. Just because next year is the anniversary, and if things do get kind of back to normal next year, I do think it's gonna be tough to get a reservation, right? So especially with all these DVC points that are, kind of backlogged here. So I am going to book something at 11 months, which I don't typically do. I know most people do that, but I don't typically do that. So I am going to book my home resort at 11 months for early June. So I'm actually probably going to do that in the next couple of days here, just, as a placeholder, if we can go that week, if it turns out that way. If not, we'll, just cancel it, and, but at least we'll have that reservation.
That's the nice thing is that, you can do that. And then that's kind of what we did is I looked at it and I went, I can rebook this again, come October, November, I can book for the same time next year. And then at that point, it'll be about this time next year, as I'll be looking at it again and deciding whether or not it makes sense to go.
Exactly.
Wait, do you want to do the ad, or do you want me to do the ad?
Yeah, I'll do the ad today. Okay. I think you did it last week, so I'll give it a shot here. Are you a frequent Disney visitor and want to save hundreds, even thousands on your next Disney trip? The DVC Rental Store wants to help you book your dream vacation for less. DVC members, great news for you too. Want to rent your points for some quick cash? DVC Rental Store wants to work with you, and they are currently renting out points at a record pace. For years, the DVC Rental Store has been helping guests stay at Disney Deluxe resorts at an affordable price, while also paying members the highest price for their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 1-855-382-7368. Let them know that Welcome Home sent you. Of course, you need to let them know that you heard about them from us. That way we can continue our partnership with them, and we know that you guys got helped out by one of our friends over there at DVC Rental Store. So again, dvcrentalstore.com or 1-855-DVC Rent.
I feel like I want to do ad libs behind, Tom doing the ad. That's something I have to work on.
Wait, you want to say other stuff?
I want to ad lib in there, yeah, get those points.
I've thought about before. This is really going to take people behind the scenes, but I've considered writing these ads to where we, do one of those corny things like, "Hey, Trevor, do you want to rent out your DVC points?" You know what I mean? Where we interact.
Yes, I do, Tom.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Tom. But I just feel like we're just not corny enough for that.
Wait, so when I went to go get a drink, what did I miss out on Chris's thing?
No. We
decided
to do the ad. You're talking about Chrissy's second question.
No. Chris's question after.
Chris's question. Oh. No, we're not that far yet. We haven't even gotten to Chrissy's second question yet. Yeah. So
I'm hungry though, everybody.
Okay, let's get into Chrissy's second question. So
we kind of talked about this a little bit already, right?
Yeah. So the question is now that DVC direct sales have lost out on so much possible money, do you think that DVC will be limiting the blue card benefits? And yeah, we did kind of touch on that.
But this last line, blue card benefits versus white card benefits, will be practically the same. Until there's a white card benefit lounge, they won't be, right?
Well, I mean, there's top of the world, but that's neither here nor there. That's not as good, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. If you have a resale, can you book Moonlight Magic?
No. Yeah, so that's not a benefit that white cards get.
Yeah. So
yeah, but she was saying since that's canceled,
okay. Yeah, so that's what they're trying to say. But essentially, with everything being canceled, aren't white card benefits and blue card benefits basically the same at the moment?
Not canceled forever, though.
No, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's the thing is that, from that point of view, everything's been canceled. So blue card versus white card doesn't matter because 0 plus 0 is still 0.
That's one way to look at it.
That's just me being purely,
Yeah, but you're not in the lounge, are you?
I'm not in the lounge right now.
No, I'm saying, but without the blue card, you're not in the lounge, are you?
No.
Okay, so that's the biggest benefit for me. So they will never be the same until that lounge gets turned into an Ellen Shrine or something like that.
Actually,
are you eating as you're talking to us, David?
Dude, ice.
Oh, you're eating. Yeah. You're eating your ice. Oh, somebody else, by the way, commented on the episode. They didn't know what chewy ice was. So.
And then someone tried to call it pellet ice, which I'm sorry, but it's not the official term. That may be, the local term, but it's not the official term.
I feel like you need to start another podcast where you just talk about ice. You just talk about your love of ice.
Yeah, I could see that. It's funny. I'm driving everyone crazy in the house because, again, it's not easy to clean either. And one of the things that you have to deal with this is, cleaning it every once in a while. I make everyone wash their hands before they take any ice out of it. I'm limiting my cleaning time with this device as well. And I also use only bottled water for making the ice.
Filtered.
Yep. Water. I buy Sam's Club water and I use that.
Oh.
We have very hard water in the neighborhood, and I knew that it would be a problem with this machine if I was using this hard water. The ice might come out better, though, because, hard water and minerals makes the ice even chewier, so I don't know.
So
there's a risk I had to take.
I need to let you know that my wife was listening to that whole discussion between us. About
and you're getting one? And you're buying one?
No, actually, she looked it up, and it turns out what she calls it is hospital ice.
Oh, wow. Somebody else mentioned that as well.
Because she actually, when she was a kid, she spent a very long amount of time in the hospital because she had to fight with cancer, and she learned to hate that ice. So she doesn't appreciate your ice, Damon, unfortunately.
It's okay. I'm not forcing any of my ice values on anybody, so that's all right.
We're gonna get some emails about you chewing ice on, on the podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm hungry.
Right,
the problem is they make this over my dinner time, and when I look at it and we're an hour in, we had a discussion beforehand that was at least 20 minutes. Like, I'm hungry. I thought we would have been done by now. Just saying.
Well,
I'm hungry.
With the whole podcast by now?
Well, yeah.
Maybe when we first started the podcast, we would have been done by now.
We haven't done a sub 1 hour episode in
No. But we talked for like 20 minutes before we even got into the episode.
That's true.
Yeah, well, that tends to be what we do these days. So, all right, you wanted to talk about Chris's question, Damon? You didn't want to miss that one?
Well, I just didn't want to miss that one because I don't agree.
All right, well, go ahead and read that one if that's one you want to focus on.
Sure. Chris would like us to, I'm going to paraphrase because, again, I'm hungry and tired already. He wants us to revisit the discussion buy where you want to stay because we discussed in a previous episode the philosophy wasn't the universally accepted idea for you three, obviously, of buying where you stay. There were a lot of thoughts about value and fairly high success rate of waitlisting at the 7-month mark. However, feel in this post-COVID world, things might be changing. They're certainly going to be changing for the next 2-3 years as bank points far supersede the inventory. And as a prospective buyer, I don't see the logic anymore in buying at Saratoga. Contract for the value if you don't want to stay there. That's always a knock on Saratoga. Oh, and also a discussion about never taking a screenshot with your camera sound on in the stall in the restroom at work. You'll get strange looks as you exit and a reputation you can't shake. I don't know what that's about, but
hey, you never had. I mean, well,
I've never done that.
Home,
so
yeah.
I don't tend to use stalls in bathrooms at work in general. So that's just me. But that being said, I still, this is one that I don't care where I stay. It's Disney. Why do people care so much where they stay? I don't understand that. I don't care where I stay. And I actually love Saratoga. It's a value and I actually like it. So, there's a lot of walking. There's a good gym. There's good pools. There's, it is larger. So there's actually a little bit more to kind of see and do. Personally, I don't necessarily love the food, but my whole thing is, why does it matter so much where you're putting your head down? I mean, there are definitely different things to do at different resorts. And I could understand, wanting to try some of those things, but I don't think any of those are necessarily something I would bank a trip on. And listen, Wilderness Lodge doing the s'mores by the lake, that was cool. I have a picture of my daughter, and it's definitely a good family memory, but I don't think it's something that I book the trip going, oh my goodness, I have to make sure I do, the campfire s'mores by the lake. I just don't understand I just don't care enough. I'm sorry. And again, this is my personal opinion. I could stay anywhere at Disney and it doesn't necessarily affect me all that much. Yes, I would love to stay everywhere, but that doesn't need me to be anywhere for the next 2 to 3 years. I think sometimes people think about, listen, and no vacation is a given going forward with anybody's lives, right? So I get that, want to try different things, but I always look at it like, well, it doesn't matter if it's 2 to 3 years. I still would take the value over having, stay somewhere that you're going to get bored of anything. Like Trevor, you love, the Polynesian, but do you want to stay there every single time? Maybe you do. I don't know. For the foreseeable future, yes. But let's have this conversation again in 3 or 4 years. Yeah, even with new resorts, I don't necessarily care that much where I stay because I can go and eat there. I can always go through them. Again, what can I use? The pool? The pools there is no pool in Disney that's better than the 2 water parks. So, yep. I don't care enough about where I'm staying, honestly, in terms of, if I stayed at if you told me right now I had to stay at Saratoga for the next 20 years, okay, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm still at Disney, right? So for me, I still take the value. I don't think this necessarily has changed my opinion, especially because we're in reality talking at 2 to 3 years max anyway, where you might not be able to get where, you want. And honestly, if you're that concerned about going somewhere else, rent out your points. Yeah. DVC rental, right? And then go cash stay somewhere else. How's that?
Look at trading with somebody else for points.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I in ways agree with you, Damon, where I'm not it's not going to ruin my trip if I have to stay at a resort I don't want to stay at, right? It's not going to ruin my trip. At the same time, I like the variety of staying at a different place every time if I can, because I feel like.
But I'm only telling you can't stay somewhere different for 3 years.
No, and that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. I'm not, saying it's that big of a deal to have to stay in the same place, for the next couple of years, if that's the case. But at the same time, if I book 11 months out, at my home resort, then yeah, sure, that's fine. I can stay there. But
I was just gonna say, I guess the question really pins on if you had to buy resale right now, right?
Yeah. Buy where you want to stay, or do you buy wherever?
Or you buy value, right? So it's money versus where you think you want to stay for the perceived next 3 years. And again, we don't know what's going to happen, with future Disney points, but as more resorts open, it becomes easier to go to different resorts, right? Yeah. In theory. You're talking about the next 2 to 3 years. I still think I take the value. So what would you do? You got to buy resale right now. And where would you want, if you had to stay somewhere, where is your best resort that you would want? Forget money aside, where would you want to buy resale at?
I'd want to buy Copper Creek.
Okay. Now, so would you want to buy Copper Creek at $40 more a point over Saratoga?
50? Probably. Resales is about the value to me, right? So I do like that, and I think I'm going to wait for a while until Copper Creek comes down to a lower level in order and to buy it, right? So I don't know if that'll ever get to Saratoga levels, probably not. No, but once it gets close,
it's not going to just because of the time frame.
Yeah,
the end date.
No, if it were today and I was just strictly going for value, I'd probably go Saratoga. But then again, I did just buy an Animal Kingdom contract, so. I that's not necessarily for value. We just like staying in Animal Kingdom. So, I got a reasonable deal on it. So that's why I did it.
Yeah. I'm all about the value.
Yeah. And you see, I'm on the other side of that where, if you asked me about buying another contract, I would probably buy another poly contract because it's, for me, it's not just, the resort itself, but also the fact that it's on the monorail loop to Magic Kingdom. And how, kind of like how you love Epcot, I love Magic Kingdom. Let's say in 5 years that changed and, Magic Kingdom was no longer my favorite resort and I now loved Hollywood Studios. Would I give up my current contracts to go stay somewhere else closer to Hollywood Studios? No, I wouldn't.
Do you ever... Tom is going to love this ice chewing. I know that. It's going to mess up his whole night.
Well,
but
I can't fix this, right?
That's what's yeah, that's true.
If you're going to talk while you're doing it, I can't fix it.
I'm sure somebody's going to complain.
I'm sure.
But so here's the thing: do you ever truly change the park you like the best? I don't know.
As in, like, has it evolved over the years? Like, the park you like better than the one before?
Yeah. So, the interesting part is, forget about new parks opening because that throws a whole monkey wrench in. But I think I've always liked Epcot the best from start. I don't think that's changed.
That's a good question. I don't know, Trevor. Do you have a thought on that? I'm formulating my opinion right now.
I will say at various points, at various points, I have had a stronger desire to go to one park over another on a particular trip, but we've always defaulted back to Magic Kingdom as, when we ask ourselves the question, well, where do you want to go? Let's just go to Magic Kingdom. That's
funny, yeah. And I would say Epcot, right? That would be my thing. Like, if I have a day to burn, or I just have some free time, I'm going to Epcot. What about you, Tom?
Animal Kingdom. I've said this before. Animal Kingdom's probably my favorite park. I would love to. I like popping in there. I like just looking at the animals. I think it's easy to do. But it's interesting you say that though, Damon. I think it's different for me because I would say my favorite park is Animal Kingdom. But as far as a park that I would like to just pop into, I think Epcot or Magic Kingdom falls into that category because I feel like Epcot's fun to just pop into at night and wander around the World Showcase, and that whole area. I think, and Magic Kingdom again at night is very cool. It's all the lights and the nighttime shows and just the kind of the ambiance.
Is it tough that I don't really love Magic Kingdom? Like that would be the park I'd go to the least.
That's okay.
No, that's totally fair. And I guess let's strip that back a little bit. So not even talking about the shows or, time of day or whatever. Of all the parks, which one could you just go stand in and be happy? Like you don't have to be doing anything. You could just stand there.
Epcot, 'cause I love food. I mean, the thing is just smelling the food.
And I could go stand in Adventureland and in Magic Kingdom and I could just be there. Like that's all I need.
The only problem I have with Epcot is I think I've seen the most jerky behavior in Epcot of all the parks.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Well, they have the most amount of alcohol.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, but that's also, you're probably right about that. That's probably the reason why, right? And there's a whole challenge built around drinking as much alcohol as you can. So,
yep.
That's fair, Damon. That's a good point.
Oh my goodness, we got news? Man, there's news. We're not done. We're not wrapping this up. Trevor, wrap it up.
Hour 7. We're barely
oh my goodness. I'm eating at an hour 30. You guys are on your own after 23 more minutes of this.
All right. Well, is there anything in our list of things that we have on here that you want to talk about before you leave us?
No.
All right.
I don't have to look.
Listen, I put this Riviera thing in here for you because you were talking about wanting to buy direct from Disney, and this is this is a good price right now. This is a pretty decent promo that they got running right now.
I mean, you have to talk DVC news, so go ahead.
All right. So DVC is offering a 40 up to $40 per point discount at Riviera, Copper Creek, Alani. So Alani's still for sale and has been forever. So. And Copper Creek is still for sale, but it is at the $220 price point. So essentially discounts increase with the number of points that are purchased. So 100 to 124 points, $5 discount per point, 125 to 149 is $15, 150 to 199, 25, 200 to 299 is 35. And then the highest, over 300 is $40 discount. So if you buy direct, you can get, pretty good price, pretty good incentive on this. And these incentives are good until September 16th. So, they could end them early, they could extend them depending on how they go. But, like we talked about before, this is obviously a reason, they're trying to push people obviously to buy these points and to buy direct right now. I'm sure they see what's going on in the resale market just because they know how many of those contracts come in for right of first refusal, right? So I'm sure they're wanting to push more people to buy direct, right? And as the parks reopen, they're going to have more DVC advisors out there, and probably in the parks and in the resorts again. So they'll probably be able to start selling again sometime soon here, at the center at Saratoga Springs. So I just think it's important to talk about that. It's a good promotion that's out there. So if you're looking to buy direct, which, Damon, at one point you were talking about buying direct at Riviera. So, this was for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I have this dream of this Epcot resort. I mean, if there's going to be no haunted river country, this Epcot resort is probably second best for me.
It's really what it's going to have to be, right?
Yeah.
It's your only choice.
What's it going to be called?
What? The Epcot resort?
Yeah. That we don't even know if it's
a real thing.
It's in Rumorville.
That was a rumor that we that we talked about, I feel like a year and a half ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time.
What would you call it?
I don't know.
What if it was? What would it be themed like?
Well, it depends on how they theme it, right? There's a lot of things.
Is it themed like space?
You could theme it like space. You could theme it like the future. Go ahead, Trevor.
I'm trying to figure out how to work Ellen's energy adventure.
Dinosaurs. It's themed like dinosaurs.
There you go.
With Jeopardy buzzers at dinner. Maybe a Jeopardy show at dinner. Every dinner. Yeah. They'd have a restaurant that just puts on a Jeopardy show.
See,
and the Ellen animatronic at the summer room talking to people.
Stupid Judy's there.
Yeah, Bill Nye.
Damon, I don't know if you know this, but in the mouse quiz thing, the trivia that our buddy Chad does a couple weeks ago, he did an homage to you. He put a question in about Ellen's energy adventure, and a lot of people got it wrong.
What was the question?
I think it was something like, who does Ellen go up against in Jeopardy? And one of the answers was Bill Nye, and I think the majority of people picked Bill Nye.
Well, that's just silly.
Obviously that's just silly. How do you get that wrong? I mean, this, stupid
Exactly.
Judy, right? So, what if they did a resort where, but I guess they couldn't do this at the entrance of Epcot, right? This
is what I'm going to tell you. I think it's going to be. It's going to be like some sort of European castle-y sort of thing. That's what I feel like it's actually going to be.
Well, I was going to say, if you did it by the World Showcase, it would be cool. What if you did like a hotel that was had sections themed to the different countries around the World Showcase?
I mean, that's very pipe dreamy, right? If I'm just on a regular old, what I think it's going to be, I think it's going to have a very European flair to it, is my take.
I mean, didn't they just do that with Riviera, though? I mean, isn't that kind of what Riviera is?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's Mediterranean.
So I'm going to say this is going to be like German castle-y sort of thing.
I feel like they'd have to go like future-y, right? Like if you're going to put it in the beginning, it's got to be like, like Future World themed or something.
But the new retake on Future World though is more, nature.
It's more future-proof, right?
Yeah.
Wow. More oriented to like you said, like nature, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Trevor. What else are you going to say? I'm sorry.
Nature. I'm working this out in my head. It's like, well, because you couldn't do like a German castle kind of thing. It just wouldn't fit. Future, you're thinking of like 90s Future World. That doesn't fit. It would have to be a revised futuristic hotel, which I guess they could do, and maybe like expanding on pavilions like the Land and the Living Seas, somehow connecting those together into a hotel where it's, entirely green energy, and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot you could do. It's tough. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of different things they could come up with for this, right? But I like that we're just speculating completely on something that's not only not announced, but not even confirmed that it's a thing.
And not even actually relevant to what we initially started talking about.
I mean, what if you? What did we even start talking about?
We were talking about
Riviera.
Riviera discount points, which obviously, I think maybe we should move on because none of us are that concerned about it.
Yeah, because none of us are going to buy Riviera points, but a listener might be interested. So you never know, right? So let's. I wanted to just do a follow-up item here because this has been kind of an ongoing saga. We talked last week about. Our last episode, I would say last week like it was just last week, but it was 2 weeks ago. We talked about how Jambo House was not going to be reopening with the rest of Animal Kingdom Lodge. But it turns out now that it is going to be opening on July 10th, but it's only going to be reopening to DVC members, which I think is interesting. I guess they kind of, I don't want to say they have to open it for DVC members, but it makes sense that they're opening it for DVC members only so they can actually use their points there. I don't know.
There may be enough demand where if enough people were saying, I want to stay at Jambo House, they can't ignore that. And I guess if they have enough staff there, the concern, I think when we talked about it on the last episode, we were saying that they would need enough people to run the entire building, right? So there's a concern of staff, but I guess if they're only opening up the DVC space, they only need a fraction of the staff that they would need to run the entire Jambo House.
Which is a pretty, I mean, the DVC section is a pretty small part of Jambo House.
You can't eat over there though, huh?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You got to expect no amenities. Although it's funny because that's usually the complaint about Kidani is that there's no restaurant, there's no quick service over there. But yeah, it seems like everything's going to be closed. Yeah, which kind of makes it a little bit challenging, right? So you have to go over to you either have to take the shuttle.
Have you made that walk before? That walk stinks.
It's a further walk than they, I mean, that's why they have a shuttle, right? But you don't want to always wait for the shuttle, but it's way further than you think it is, right?
I've made it a few times and I'm like, oh, stupid. Because again, I don't love the food there. So sometimes I'll be like, oh man, I'm going to go to the other place.
I do have to say the quick service in Jambo House is pretty good. We had some really good food there last time.
Yeah, it's all right.
I liked it. I mean, I like bad food, I guess. They had a pretty great, fried chicken sandwich there that I was really digging.
I don't necessarily know if I would categorize you as a foodie per se. So I'll let you slide on that.
I don't know what that. I don't know if I should take that to. I like food. I just like.
You should take it what as a knock? Oh, 100%. I mean,
I like to.
That's exactly how I meant it.
Listen, I like to slum it every once in a while and eat some, just fast food and bad stuff. But I like.
See,
food.
So that's interesting. So I haven't had fast food outside of having to eat fast food when we're driving somewhere for vacation. In probably close to 6-7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, like when you're on vacation, you almost have to, right? If you're driving on the highway, it's not like you're pulling off and, but we usually do Chick-fil-A, which is, the classy of fast food.
The classier fast food. Not as fast food.
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't know. I like to get some, nasty pizza sometimes. I don't need to.
But like,
and grab a little Caesar
we don't
pie.
do Domino's or anything like that. I mean, I guess they can't be a sponsor now. Sorry, Domino's, but like we don't do that.
I gotta make a phone call now, Damon. They were itching to be a sponsor of this show.
The Noid. You remember the Noid?
Oh, geez.
Noid?
You just hit a 90s button for me.
Yeah.
Playing that Nintendo game that they made.
Oh, terrible. Wait, who was that anyway? Was that Domino's or Pizza Hut?
That was Domino's.
Okay.
That did what? What did
Noid.
Oh yeah, the Noid. Yeah, but I thought
the game was called Yo Noid, and it was on Nintendo, and I played it.
I purchased that because I was smarter than Trevor, I guess.
I rented it. I didn't purchase it.
You still wasted money on it, though, Trevor.
I spent $5 on it, and
it wasn't worth it.
It was the worst weekend ever, and I couldn't go get another game.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna lay on the couch with my therapist and talk about this for.
Well, I bought ET though, so there you go.
Oh yeah, I still have one of the worst games ever. Right?
Yeah, that game's awful, but I had ET when it came out on the Atari.
Yeah.
Wow, we're just really alienating anybody under 30 that listens to us.
Yeah, my kid doesn't understand what the Atari is. It's sad.
You should make him play it. Don't you? Do you have an Atari lying around?
Maybe the next time he gets grounded.
Wait, can't you buy like one of those Atari consoles now? Like the
joystick,
yeah. They're not as good. It's emulate.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
The best game was River Raid anyway.
We are way off track now.
I would argue Jungle Hunt, but okay.
Oh, but you know what the problem with Jungle Hunt was? Is Jungle Hunt was such a sham of the arcade Jungle Hunt, while River Raid had no letdown factor to it.
Okay, everything on the 2600 was a disappointment.
No, because River Raid had nothing else for you to compare it to. So it was inherently a good game, and there was no like, oh, but it was better when, you know, in the arcade. There wasn't any of that, which made that game a supreme win. That's just, you know, how I feel about it. That was my jam. I love River Raid.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, this has really gotten off the rails.
Sorry, you brought up video games. That's my other crutch. So yeah,
you two should just start a separate video game podcast without me. It's just
retro video game.
There you go, podcast idea.
You know, podcasts are hard, by the way. For anyone that didn't know,
this is hard. What we're doing right now.
I think people think it's really easy, but it's hard. Like if you want to have like 50 listeners, like, oh, podcasts are really easy, right? Like if you want to talk to yourself, podcasts are really easy.
Yeah.
Outside of that, they're kind of hard.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. We're lucky that have
like I said,
as many people as we do listening to this.
Yeah,
so.
This whole Netflix thing is like I love doing that podcast, but like my feelings get hurt every time I'm like, oh, we got 150 listeners last episode. Yay!
We were excited when that happened when we started this, though.
So. Yeah, do you remember? How excited we got when we hit 100 listeners with this show?
Yeah,
we were super psyched. Yeah. And now it's, you know, like if we don't have a certain amount of thousand, it's funny how the math changes on that.
Yes, that's true.
Honestly, it still blows me away that we have as many listeners as we do. Because
that's true. Yeah, yeah. I agree with you, Trevor. I don't know why anyone listens to us. Okay. What else do you guys want to talk about here? I just put a little something in here about, you know, Imagineering has been talking about, a lot of people are concerned about some of the projects getting stopped, but it looks like, you know, the things that were really far along, like Avengers Campus and Tron are continuing to move on here. What's that?
I'm so excited for Tron.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm so excited for everything that's coming, even though, you know, I think
that's one
Tron,
that
I know.
That's probably one that I'm most excited for because it hits on a lot of, things that I enjoy. But how are we not going to talk about Garden Grill and totally disrespect Trevor?
Well, I kind of want to talk about, I really want to talk about this no virtual queues thing. I think this is interesting.
Gosh.
We talked about this like, weeks ago.
Well, and I also, okay. Well, this is around the reopening. Okay.
Wow.
Do we need to say anything else about Tron and?
No, it's just going to be awesome. There's not too much to talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably not. The interesting thing though I find is we have heard nothing about Space 220 and nothing about a Ratatouille ride at all. So,
well, Ratatouille is, I feel that's in the same boat as the other ones. It's pretty close to done, and I'm sure you'll probably hear about it. I'm predicting September is when you'll hear about Ratatouille.
Wow, I like all the bold predictions you're making today, Trevor.
I might as well because there's nothing else to do.
Well, and plus it doesn't matter if we're wrong, right? Like no one cares if we're right or wrong on this.
This is going to change in 2 weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. But Ratatouille seemed like it was almost completely done, and they could have continued working on that whole thing without anybody even knowing. You know, they got people taking pictures from helicopters of the construction progress, but you know, all the stuff for Ratatouille's on the inside pretty much, and exactly. Some of the stuff around the France Pavilion, but they could have been working on that. We wouldn't even know it. So who knows when that's going to open? And Space 220, who knows if that's ever going to open because it's been delayed forever. I think it still says on the website it's going to open the winter time. They might be right. It might be winter 2020 that it finally opens instead of winter 2019. So
yeah. Okay.
But But so the resorts are opening kind of in a phased fashion. So I have that on here. We're going to talk about virtual queues in a sec. I realized that I had the wrong header on this one, but it looks like they're opening in a phased way. So July 10th, Jambo House is opening, like we talked about. Pop Century, Contemporary, those are all opening. Caribbean Beach is opening the 29th. The 12th, Polynesian's opening. Art of Animation. August 24th, Yacht and Beach Club are opening. The 21st of September, Grand Floridian. Go ahead, Trevor.
Hold on. I thought that some of the resorts were already open, though. Or is this just...
The resorts are open. These are the regular resorts.
Oh, okay. All right.
Only the DVC resorts opened. The regular resorts have not opened yet.
Okay, that's... Well, I was wondering why Polynesian was on here, but what you're talking about is the non-DVC rooms.
The regular part. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
The non-DVC.
So yeah, you should have said Disney World non-DVC. Okay, why would... For those, I don't care.
All the ones you don't care about.
Yeah.
Well, the only ones that so far have not been said anything about are All Stars, Port Orleans, both French Quarter and Riverside, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Jambo House, the non-DVC portion there. We don't know when that's going to open. And then Wilderness Lodge has been nothing about that either. So, I think we talked about this before. I think they're just waiting for more demand, right? There's no reason to open some of these gigantic resorts when they don't have a demand and not only not have demand, but can't even let people in the parks, right? So they're restricted by the amount of people they can let.
And this is what I've been saying about, Disney needs to feel this out. We really need to see how these next couple of weeks go before they make any decisions. And yeah, it will very much hinge on if people actually come and how people behave in the resorts and at the parks when the parks open up. And yeah, I think what you'll probably see is that over the next couple of months here, it'll be either Disney will, they'll probably hit a point in the month where they'll assess it and go, are we good with opening the next phase? And if they say, yep, then you'll see an announcement where they say, yep, next, or these resorts are now open, or we're now allowing more people back in. But I think they're kind of keeping their cards close to their chest, because if they find that in a month or 2 months that things aren't going the way that they expect, they may just push it off. It may not be until, I see the dates on here go as far out as October for opening some of these resorts. I think you could get possibly into December or January before you see things like All Stars opening up.
Yeah, unless the situation drastically changes, right? We don't know. Things can change. So.
Yeah.
And I mean, this happened the last time they had a major downturn in tourism, which, they had some resorts that were closed. I mean, it was a thing that happened. So this could continue. Who knows? Mm-hmm. I do find it really interesting. I think we talked, remember, several podcasts ago about the virtual queues, thinking that they were going to do virtual queues for everything. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case now. It seems like they're saying that there's not going to be virtual queues, and basically there's just going to be standby.
Which I guess if you think about it, as long as they have the right policies in place,
yeah,
that's okay. Because like we had talked about on the previous podcast, is if they go to virtual queues, then that means that you just have people elsewhere in the parks, and they're still going to end up. I guess what's worse is that if they plan for virtual queues, you just get people balling up in places because they'll go to the stores, they'll go to a restaurant or a quick service. And I think that's way harder to manage than saying, yeah, if everybody's in a line, they can have people stationed in the line enforcing distancing and keeping people managed a lot better. So as much as we don't like queuing, the advantage of queuing is that it is a very clear line for social distancing.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And this could change, right? So it could be, and by the way, I'm going to classify this as rumor. Hasn't been confirmed by Disney, so we're going to throw this as rumor. But from right now, Disney hasn't announced anything about a virtual queue. And even for Rise of the Resistance, there's going to be no virtual queue, apparently.
Well, I don't think there's going to be enough people to require what they were doing before.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes sense. But now, Damon, we're going to talk about Garden Grill. Are you excited now?
I'm excited.
I'm so hungry.
This is making you hungry?
I'm just so hungry. I'm tired and hungry.
We're almost done here. Okay, so Trevor, why don't you take this?
The problem is I want to talk about PhotoPass. Otherwise, I already would have left.
You want to talk about PhotoPass?
Okay, well,
otherwise I would have left already.
I want to talk about Garden Grill first.
No, I'm giving you Garden Grill.
All right, you take Garden Grill since you're the Garden Grill super fan, and then we'll get to the PhotoPass.
So, yeah, so what they announced was that Garden Grill is going to be reopening with a modified character dining experience. This basically means that the characters won't be coming to your table. You won't be getting pictures or, getting hugs from them or anything, which sucks, but at the same time, it's something, and it's a good start, I think. And I think that's a good restaurant to start with because I like the food there. Myself and my family all really enjoy the food there and really enjoy the experience, even outside of the character interactions. It's still one of the reasons that I go to Epcot. And if I was to change, I guess, my favorite park, this would definitely be a deciding factor in why I would like Epcot, Damon.
I feel like this is so bad that I haven't been there.
Really? I like it.
I'm looking up the menu right now.
It's a, so you don't get a traditional, like, pick what you want kind of thing. They bring you out it's
a family style.
It's basically a skillet full of a bunch of different things. And I guess for you, because you don't, like you said, you don't eat a lot of meat and whatnot.
I just don't eat beef, so that would be a problem if they, busted out beef.
Well, they do a roast beef, but they also have turkey and, the vegetables.
Wait, is it always the same?
Well, whenever we've gone for lunch, it is, but I know they have a breakfast offering, and I don't know if dinner's any different than the lunch.
But so do you get I'm looking at this now. It says a harvest-inspired green garden salad, grilled beef with chimichurri, and all natural sliced turkey with gravy. You get all of them?
Yes.
So see that's a problem for me because I'm not doing the grilled beef, and then I feel like I'm wasting money. That's probably why I've never done it.
But you can tell
like
them
family style though. It's
when they bring it out, you can tell them, I don't want beef, give me more turkey, or they'll just bring you whatever you want. If you want more of a particular thing, they'll just bring it to you. It's not that it's like, it's not served to you on a plate. They just bring out portions of it.
You know what I'm going to do? I think maybe I'm going to go like vegetarian one Disney trip.
See how do you like all of like the plant-based meats and all that?
I don't even know if I need the plant-based meats. I think I'm just going to go vegetarian. I've been talking about that. I said if I had a personal chef, I think I would be vegetarian already.
Yeah, I guess you could see how that goes because I'm sure a lot of the places would be pretty receptive.
The problem is the General's chicken would be missing. That would be a problem.
You could get a fake version of that, right? You could do like a General's cauliflower.
They have that at Disney? I'm talking about at Disney.
Oh, I don't know if they have that at Disney.
I'm talking about Disney. So I did they have, I want to say Sam's Club has a buffalo cauliflower, like a breaded cauliflower, like kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was just okay.
Not great.
No, the problem with frozen stuff is it has to be fresh. If you're going vegetarian, you got to go fresh.
Yeah.
This is how I feel about all cauliflower, though, is it's just not great.
I love cauliflower.
Cauliflower is great.
Yeah.
If I'm going to eat something that looks like that, give me broccoli any day. I'll take broccoli.
I like broccoli too. I don't do mushrooms though. Again, my biggest problem is no beef, no mushrooms, no seafood. And that takes out a lot of dishes.
It's really tough to be a vegetarian if you don't like mushrooms. They put mushrooms in all the vegetarian stuff.
Yeah, that would be a problem for me.
See, I love mushrooms on my pizza and I eat sushi all the time. So you and I would not be able to go out for dinner together, Damon.
and here's the other thing. To be honest with you, I don't even like when people order fish if I'm eating with them.
Really?
It like ruins my food experience.
Because you don't like
because I hate fish that much. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like mushrooms. If you're eating mushrooms next to me, that's fine. But like if you're eating fish while we're eating dinner, I'm not super happy about that.
See, I go full on tuna sashimi on a regular basis. So,
but I don't think that's that's not cooked, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. See, not cooked fish, I don't think is as bad. Cooked fish for me,
you just don't like the smell.
Yeah, and it messes with my dinner.
That's fair.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm glad the Garden Grill's reopening, and
yay, Garden Grill.
I think it's good. Well, here's my question though. Okay, this is the question really. You pay a lot for those dining experiences with the characters, and you pay for them, mostly not for the food, but you pay for them for the experience with the characters. Does this make it so that you don't really want to dine there because you're not getting the same character?
Who's got like a 1990s phone ringing?
You can hear that?
Yeah.
It's not me. It's
Zach Morris called and he wants his phone back. Like, what happened back there?
Is that a house phone?
Yes, that's our house phone.
Is that a landline phone?
Yes, we have a landline. And it's so that we can hear it from outside, usually.
We are way off. We need to get Damon out of here because he's starting to lose his mind. He's too hungry at this point.
Well, can we talk about PhotoPass services then?
Yeah.
I read it, though, and I don't even know what I want to talk about anymore.
You read it? Okay, so, essentially, PhotoPass photographers won't be able to take pictures using guest phones, tablets, or other devices. They're going to clean the props a bunch. And let's see, what else did they say here? You got to make sure that, obviously you scan your Magic Band beforehand. So, I mean, does this bother you? Is this about, because...
No, I don't think it bothers me. I think people are going to be upset by it, though. I get PhotoPass, so I don't care.
Yeah. Would you say, Damon?
I said I get PhotoPass, so I don't care, right? It doesn't affect me, but it's going to affect a lot of people that don't necessarily get the package, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I guess you're right, because we either buy PhotoPass or we get it when we get an annual pass. And I've never handed my phone or camera to any PhotoPass person.
I've never done that. Oh, that's not true. Well, you know what it is? Actually, for me, I don't think I do, because I just take the picture myself. I don't need to be in pictures.
Actually, no, hold on. Sorry, I should back that up. I never handed my like a picture camera. I have handed my camcorder to them before. So that's...
Camcorder. Nice.
That's a bit of an annoyance.
That goes along with the landline.
Yeah, I know.
When you said camcorder, I'm just imagining like a VHS, like one,
right.
One of the ones on the
big
shoulder.
I actually, we had one of those at one point, and yes, the shoulder cannon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. I had one too.
Yeah. But yeah, I see where this could be a problem, especially if you want to get, people thinking about they want to get a picture. I guess that's where maybe there's a further discussion here about PhotoPass is one thing, but if you could get somebody to capture video as well, because I guess that's the thing that I care about, is that some of those interactions, I like recording the video, but I also would like to be in the video occasionally and not just be the guy behind the camera.
Yeah, see, I don't ever need to be in video or anything like that. I feel like my family is probably less, what's a good word for this? Like, they're not going to go back and watch them again or look at those pictures again, but I will. So it's more for me. So if I'm not in it, I don't really care, if that makes sense.
No, it's fair. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their different preferences for that. So I guess I see where it's definitely going to annoy people, but considering considering the current situation, I can't imagine anybody that would fight for this is really... Like, this is not the hill to die on.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this kind of brings back to the PhotoPass boxes, right? Remember the PhotoPass boxes that everyone hated?
But that doesn't help you, because it's not like they're giving them to you for free.
No, but now, you also,
if you had a Bluetooth way to get them for free, that would be a different story.
You can put your phone on top of the PhotoPass box and set a timer on it.
Yeah. You have one of those pop sockets on the back, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. That's perfect.
There, I found a solution.
There you go. You figured it out. All right. Well, there was one last thing I think we had on here.
Goodness gracious. Which has been, you guys talked about this all the time. Nothing's changed. The Yeti's not getting fixed. Done. I've already talked about it. We're good.
No, I think it's interesting what he talks about. He
said the same thing. It's not like if you're following this, you don't know this yet.
I mean, that's fair.
If you listen to our podcast, you don't have to rehash this discussion because we've already had it.
Essentially, Joe Rohde was doing a discussion on Twitter, and he mentioned that essentially that the Yeti's broken because of
for the 100 millionth time,
an unforeseen set of issues with no easy or timely solution.
For the 100th millionth time.
Well, but yeah, there was a big argument though when the parks first closed for like when it was only going to be 2 weeks that
because people in the not know.
Well, yeah, they were like, "Oh, you can fix it over those 2 weeks," and it's like, no, it's not that simple. Right?
Even in 5 months, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. I think the only thing that's changed in here is that I know Joe said for a long time that he was committed to fixing it, but I think this answer to me sounds like he did some initial investigative work and found that there was something else there that he hadn't considered, and it's more complex than what he initially said. Or what he initially thought. And so he's basically just saying, don't expect anything anytime soon with it.
I think that's a good way to think about it. But you're right, Damon. Not exactly new news, but it's interesting when Joe Rohde talks out about this stuff, you know.
For some of us, it is.
For some of us, yes. I found it interesting. Thank you. But anyway, all right. Well, let's wrap it up so we could go get some food and, David can go. I don't know. It's too early to go to sleep, though, Damon. Right?
It's 7 o'clock. You figure by the time I finish eating, right? Figure we get to like 7:45. Dude, I might wrap it up. Well, I got a shower. My wife had to cut my hair today, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I haven't even been, like I said, I won't go out for any haircuts or anything like that. So my wife
did get a haircut a month or so ago. It looks a lot better.
Yeah. I don't necessarily need a haircut. My haircut's extremely easy. That the whole top has been cut to the same length, right? And the sides are just a 1. So it's not that hard to kind of deal with it. I just needed the sides cut to a 1 again. And I was, annoying her the whole time, telling her, please do not mess up the top of my hair. I'll be really, really upset. I'll be really upset. So that's.
I thought about getting my wife to do it, but I knew she wouldn't do my hair. I thought also just about shaving my head because I'm losing my hair anyway. So
it depends what kind of cut you have, right? Like that's the dilemma. So I had my head shaved forever, and then I felt like that. You watch that Seinfeld episode long enough, right? And you're like, oh my goodness, dude, is it still like, is my hair still okay? Like, is it still all right? So then I grew it out to like super long on the top because I'm like, it's been so long, and then I don't know. Now I just don't know what I want to do with it at all.
Yeah, I mean, when we had dinner together, your hair was pretty long, I feel like.
Yeah.
It seemed like forever ago that I had dinner with you, but it's been a long time. But anyway, let's go ahead and wrap up. Let's get out of here.
Speaking of dinner, it's time to wrap up.
Yep, exactly.
All right. So, anything you guys heard, if you want to ask us questions, if you want to give us feedback, talk to us about anything really related to the podcast, you can reach us at our email address, which is welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We always love talking to you guys. If you don't want to email or you would prefer to talk to us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, Facebook, you can find us as Welcome Home Podcast. Twitter is Welcome Home Pod and Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. We do have a website as well, which...
So now I want to get into it because, I
was waiting for
again
this.
said I was going to redo the website.
Oh, boy.
And all I asked was, I just said, hey, can you send me over a picture I can use and a brief bio? That's it. Doesn't sound like it's a lot, right?
So,
what Trevor sent it over, because, but Tom, I couldn't even send it over to me. Like, for him to take the 3 minutes out for the 5 to 10 hours of work I'm going to have to do, but I can't even get that. The website still stinks.
I will get it done. I will get it done today. How about
the website still stinks.
Before the day is over, I will send it to you.
WelcomeHomePodcast.com is a great place to go if you want to see if you want to get this episode or the last couple of episodes. And there is also a link there to our store, which is store.welcomehomepodcast.com if you want to go there directly and check out some merchandise. We do have face masks. We have hats, mugs, lots of cool stuff there.
Are there bucket hats though?
No, there's actually no hats on that site. Sorry.
Okay, we don't have hats. I thought we could get the hats.
No, we can't do hats because they're like exclusive.
Sorry.
Yeah, the hats are, well, no, and plus TeePublic doesn't make hats, so that's really the big problem. You can get like a mug, you can get a big blanket, you can get like a big
big
poster.
Bucket hats. There needs to be a bucket hat crew.
I mean, we can.
So Tom, if you need another shirt, can I get a bucket hat?
Sure.
Because I would rock the heck out of a bucket hat.
All right. I can see what I can do. I can make that happen.
And here we are brainstorming the show as we're recording.
Yes, as usual. As usual.
Yeah. Also,
iTunes?
So we also have a YouTube channel. So if you search us on YouTube for Welcome Home Podcast.
Do we though?
Yeah.
Do we though?
Well, we have a couple of things on there. As honestly, I think.
I guess if you want to see Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I can understand.
And once we get into, or once things get back to more normal, you will probably see us doing more live shows and things like that. It's just, right now it doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And as usual, if you found us on iTunes or Spotify or any of those podcast services, please leave us a review. We like seeing the feedback, and it also helps other people find the podcast.
I gave out some buttons recently to people too.
You sent some out, or you're going to?
No. To people, like I said, that are around here that listen to the podcast.
Oh,
and
man.
They enjoyed them. Again, I have to wait till the Netflix podcast gets 100 people on Facebook. Then I'll give out like 2 buttons.
Yeah. You mean pins?
Can't even get there.
Pins. Yeah. Pins. Yeah. Yeah. We haven't sent some pins out in a while. Maybe we need to do a contest or something. Oh, you were talking about doing a drawing contest or something like that, weren't you?
Yeah. It didn't pan up. Now I think the easiest way if you really want to pin is just go over and like the Netflix podcast, because once I get to 100, I'll give away pins over there.
Well, I think we should do a drawing contest for concept art of what the front of Haunted River Country would look like. There you go.
If anyone decided to do like a little bit of effort on that, like just even like a teeny amount of effort, you would definitely get a pin. There'd be no doubt about that.
No doubt.
But it couldn't be like stick figure drawing.
I was going to say no stick
like
figures.
No, it's got to look legit.
Some sort of effort there.
Yeah, it's got to be legit. Yeah. All right. So don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify. Just about any place you can find podcasts, you can find us. Reminder to our listeners, as always, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, any and all opinions we express on this show are our own. So please consult your DVC representative for more information, or a Disney cast member. Talk to Disney directly. Don't take anything on this show that you hear as facts, because we don't always have facts on this show. So we try our best, but we don't always have it. So big thank you to DVC Rental Store for sponsoring this episode. We really appreciate their partnership. So we just humbly ask you to please support the people that support us. Check them out if you're looking to rent points or rent out your points. So join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
We do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.